Okay, so we're going to move on to social media. Who doesn't have social media? Is there anybody in this room that doesn't have social media? Really? Smartest guy in the room. No, I'm kidding. So Clay McDaniel, he is currently the Chief Operating Officer at Ripple. I've used Ripple for so many different tasks in real estate. And so it's a mobile marketing software that helps small businesses share branded videos, pictures. Like I've used it for different pictures in like what do you call it? Collage? Slideshows and all of that across platforms. So I want to give it up right now. Clay has he has in-house marketing teams at various technology companies. He's founded one of the first national social media marketing agencies back in 2006. So I'm going to let you take it from here.
Thank you. Well, thank you all for hosting me. I have to say, like, these are the most fun days that I get to spend all year long. I've been able to spend 4 or 5 days all around the country over the last year and a half, really meeting all of you. It's inspiring for me to hear all of your individual stories about not just your successes, but the challenges, your fears, concerns, and really my goal today is to come give you a couple of really specific actionable tips that you can take away about how to help grow your business through marketing activities that you run and control, that tell your story, and that connect to your customers in ways that are unique. What we find in running a software business that's focused on helping you with your marketing activities, we find that there are a lot of generalizations out there, that 3 best practices, 5 best tips, and the fact is the thing that matters most to each of you is your own individual personal story. So over the course of the next 20 minutes or so, I want to share a few of the things we've learned from seeing over 3 million small businesses and nonprofit and community groups use our software to tell their story, and then give you a little bit of a sense for timing, what to do when and how, and then really open it up and kind of take some of your more specific questions and take it from there. So thanks a lot. Really, this is the thing that matters most, is where to begin. We recognize that with many of you, you're faced with the challenges of running your business, growing your business, hiring and retaining employees. Marketing is one of those things you know you have to be doing well, and yet many times it comes last on your list. Sometimes because you don't fancy yourself an expert, perhaps because you're a little bit afraid of some of the channels today, the digital marketing channels that really are the most efficient and that matter most. Or maybe you just have a cousin or a nephew or a niece that's doing it for you and you feel like out of sight, out of mind, I don't need to kind of touch that, I'm going to let him or her do that for me. But I'm here to tell you that where to begin is with your story. So you see it's number 1 on this list, and we're going to return to this after I kind of touch on a few of these things about not only telling your story, but being where your customers want you to be and where it matters most, and also how much and when to say things. But the reason why telling your story is number 1 is it's the thing that you own. It's the thing that you are the best equipped in the whole world to tell your customers, to tell your prospective customers, is the unique and personal individual aspects of your own journey with your entrepreneurial activities or running a nonprofit or a local community organization. Nobody knows that story better than you, and nobody should be telling it more often than you are. So the thing to really remember here is that we are an animal. We're a species of storytellers. We have 10,000 years of tradition with wheels and fire, but most of all, telling each other our stories. And so it's what we're all innately built to do. And the fact is, whatever you sell, whatever product, service, what business you run, that's how you're making money. That's how you're delivering value to your customers. But it's not actually your brand or your name of your business or even what your business does that people remember the longest. What they remember the longest is what unique narrative you share with them. And so one of the things I'm here to do today is to help you understand that telling your story early and often is a superpower. It's a superpower that each one of you has. So on the left and right up here, what you see is Salt and Straw Ice Cream. They're a Portland, Oregon ice cream shop that I love. And on the right, Tai Chi, who runs the sushi restaurant in Seattle. And in no small part, I know a lot about these businesses, and I frequent these businesses because I advocate for them, because I know their stories. And so now let me tell you one about me. I am a 45-year-old proud ice cream eater. I eat it every single day. And I started eating ice cream at the age of 8 by putting down a half gallon of Bluebell chocolate chip every single day growing up in Dallas, Texas. It's 7,500 calories, and I can tell you that when I was in high school and had to figure out that calorie count for one of my classes, there was no way anybody in the classroom understood how it was possible that I could put down that many a day. And then you'd get to the point in the list where it would say half gallon of Bluebell, and it was pretty obvious right there. So I have spent my whole life loving ice cream, which means all around the country, and I'll take recommendations if anybody wants to join me for lunch today about where I should go have my scoop of ice cream this afternoon here in Houston. I've already heard one. But all around the country, what I love doing is picking a couple spots, barbecue, ice cream, whatever, and then the first thing I do when I go in is see if I can ask who runs this place and ask them to tell me the story of how they got started, how they started cooking, how they started that business, what flavor is their favorite. And so one of the things that I hope you'll remember is that when you get a chance to talk to a customer, when you get a chance to post something on email and social media, begin and end with your story every single time. It's the thing that's most likely to be shareable. It's the thing that's yours uniquely. And it's the thing that is actually what people really want at the end of the day. It's their point of connection with you, even more so than the product or service. So, where should you be doing this? The simple fact is that the most efficient, easiest, lowest cost way for you to tell your story effectively today is through online marketing activities. If you are doing these 3 things well, I promise you, you will get a better return on the investment of your time and effort than anything else you can be doing. No offense to, local radio, print, what have you. These may be components of your marketing strategy, but you must be doing your website, social media, and your email activities well because they are just the most efficient ways that you can help your business grow. So by way of a quick poll, how many of you in this room, you can just raise your hands, how many of you in this room are really proud of your website? I'm going to say it's about a quarter to a third. How many of you in this room are really proud of your social media activities for your business or your organization? Roughly the same, maybe a little less. How many of you in this room are even doing email marketing on a regular basis with your customers or prospects? That's a little bit higher. So if there's one thing I guess I would share from you looking out as I am at you all right now, it is not the majority. The majority of you in this room feel like you have room to improve on these things. So let's talk about how. Well, for one thing, you need to be using the right tools. It's like if you hire a carpenter to come to your home and that person opens up their toolbox and there's a screwdriver and a rusty hammer, you're not likely to keep them around. Similarly, if you want to build and grow your business, for each of these digital marketing channels, be sure that you're using a platform or tools that are really inexpensive, that are efficient, and that work well for you. And then the rest of what we're going to talk about today is about mix and frequency. How do you feel confident in creating and posting information online that is authentic and true to yourself and your business, but also has value for your customers? And generally speaking, what that means is go easy on the promotions and sales stuff. Go heavy on accentuating and showing off your customers. Go heavy on featuring and highlighting your employees. Telling the stories of your community, the community in which your business operates and works. These are the things that help kind of round out and elevate the level of your own personal story and shows the connections to your community, to your customer base. So the best way to do that is always going to be not only with your story, but with images and videos that you capture. So let's talk about social media for a minute. This is probably the area, especially being a social media marketing software tool, that I hear the most anxiety, the most fear, most often. When I talk to entrepreneurs like you, what I usually get from them is like, really? I don't know. Or, I kind of use Facebook groups, but I'm not really sure how to do anything else over there. The thing that I tell people is social media is moving fast, so ask your customers. Every single time you have an opportunity to interact with a customer or a prospect, ask them, hey, where would you like to hear from me on social media? And then do a little tick tally. If you've got a notebook or you've got something behind the counter or behind the desk, just do a tick tally. And when you get to where you see that the majority of your customers are using one particular platform, then just focus there. Just really, hone in on that. Don't worry about trying to do everything well. Just do one thing well. If I would recommend one thing to most of you, I would recommend that you try to use the social media platform for your business, not that's recommended by some agency or that your niece or nephew suggests or whatever. Try to use the one that you think you personally are going to spend the most time on. Because the fact is, your presence, your contribution, your involvement in social media on behalf of your organization or business is what your customers most want from you. They don't want to hear something that's, a kind of saccharine, like removed arm's length message or to have one post every month with some, not very important or interesting news item. They want to see the authentic you, living and working and struggling and experiencing the joy of building your own business and being your own boss. And you honestly cannot do more than just picking the one place where you are going to feel confident and want to check in and spend time every day. And the more that you do that, the more likely it is that you're going to have these one-on-one interactions with customers in a way that's public, in a way that's visible. And that's what is actually going to become part of that memorable component of your own story about your business. So let me show you a couple examples. I love Mort at Mort's Cabin because like every 8th or 10th post or something, he's just highlighting and celebrating a customer in his retail store in Seattle. This shows him hugging, I guess, one of his new best friends or something who is part of this Tacoma night market. Here's Tai Chi again, who is posting about how much he loves the reunion of seeing old customers that I guess are back in the restaurant after time away. The one in the middle actually uses the hashtag customer love. I mean, is there anything more straightforward than just leading off your post by just saying, what I'm going to post about for this moment is just about how much I love my customer. So quick deals, the idea with quick deals is that you can't do these very often, but when you're going to post something that's promotional or that's a sale or a deal or an offer, make sure you make it time-bounded. By having a quick expiry date on it, you force action, and even better, make it time-bounded and require the customer to show you that they saw it on Instagram or that they saw it on email, and then that'll help kind of give you some data each time you see one of those things, how well these different quick deals or promotions are working for you, because it gives you tangible evidence that that thing captured attention and drove somebody in, whereas something else you did previously, maybe it was crickets. News and updates. So it is okay to tell your customers, to tell your prospective customers what's going on that's related to your business. So National Dog Day in the middle. We've had discussion today already about women's business empowerment and entrepreneurial success. Having those moments in time, those seasonal moments, or just news about your business success as it grows, is absolutely okay to do. It is one of the things that you give your customers kind of an arrow for their quiver, that when they're going to tell another prospective customer about their experience with your business, they're going to tell whether they had a good or bad experience, and then they're going to include that little news item or something because that's topical and it's current. Behind the scenes. So this is something that we do not see our users of our social media marketing software doing nearly enough. When you have something about your employees, when you have something about yes, even counting inventory or whatever, but you're showing the kind of layer behind, the level behind what's the surface of your business or your service offering. When you show that, you're kind of showing that you're vulnerable. You're showing that you're willing to open some of that kind of behind the curtain components of the challenge and joy of running your business. And by doing that, you basically give your customers permission when they come in to ask you about that. And the most valuable thing you can stimulate in the form of a customer action or a prospective customer action is for them to come and ask you a question. Because they're beginning the conversation now. Now you have permission to ask them a question back, and that free exchange is what really is going to unlock the stories for each other that will help drive advocacy. So these are not hard and fast rules, but what we suggest when we're asked by our customers and users of our software, we tend to suggest that you go more frequently as you go through this path. So behind the scenes should just happen when it's authentic and happening in the moment for you. News updates and quick deals, you shouldn't be promoting, putting deal or promotional or sale information out more frequently than about monthly. If you go more than that, what your customers are going to find, what your followers are going to find is that they are going to feel like you're kind of abusing that relationship by being too frequent about using it for promotional or commercial purposes. By contrast, customer love, we say quarterly, you should be doing that monthly or more often, even if you're able to, because the more that you show your customers, the more likely they are to then share and pass along your kind of message and advocacy further. But you need more than just text. You need more than words. You need great imagery. But the good news is, we all carry in our pockets now a device that is capable of capturing pictures and video with fidelity and quality that surpasses the $2,000 digital cameras that were out there 10 years ago. So you all have the tool in your hands, including auto-correcting and auto-fixing and everything else, portrait mode, that makes the images you take about your business, about your customers, about your experience beautiful. So share them. Short videos are also a secret weapon for you. So, the stats show that we spend so much time, and it's increasing all the time, consuming digital pictures and images on the web, that short videos, so 15, 20 seconds or less, have an excessive amount of value as compared to imagery. Because with a short video, you have a little micro story that occurs, whereas in an image, you just have that one static moment. The fact is that you can see here through some of these stats, even just using the word video in an email opens the click-through rate on the email for you. So use it not excessively, but not sparingly. Use video to complement imagery and words so that that kind of multimedia package is all part of how you tell your story best. And then connect social and email together in a way that gives you the kind of 1 + 1 = 3 thing. When you post something on social media that you think is also of interest, don't assume that those folks are also getting your emails. Similarly, vice versa. You shouldn't post 100% in both places, but they can really be complementary. They're not separate channels the way that some may think they are. In fact, MailChimp now offers the ability to run your weekly newsletters, post information out by email, and then place an Instagram ad with that exact same content directly right from your MailChimp account. I'll save this part about tools you can use until later. I want to kind of leave this as part of the conversation for lunch, so please find me. And then I'd love to hear your individual challenges or what you're looking to improve, whether that's your website, your email, or social media activity. And then I'll be able to give you a more custom recommendation that's specific to what you need. So kind of to wrap up back where we started, I think that the thing that each of you should challenge yourself this afternoon is, as we're talking over lunch, as you're talking to each other, challenge each other to ask, well, what's your story? Lead with that question of each other. And the more practice that you have telling it quickly, the more likely you are then to want to use your phone to capture it in short videos and post it out. And I can assure you it's going to be the question I'm probably going to ask you first if I get to spend time with you. So I really appreciate the time. I appreciate the chance to kind of share a few suggestions, I guess. And I'd be happy to take a few questions if you have them now. And when we conclude, then I'll be here for the rest of the day and look forward to hearing each of your stories.
We have time for one question for Clay.
I have a quick question about LinkedIn.
Yes.
So I was in oil and gas for a long time. I recently stopped working in July of last year. So I have a lot, I'm a travel agent. I have a lot of and no one knew at work what I did on the side, but because I needed to get sleep, I had to let that job go. And so a lot of people didn't know what I did because I didn't advertise at all or let it be known. So a lot of my target market are also my LinkedIn friends, connections rather, they're not friends. So I'm wondering if that's a good way to reach that target market. They know me, they trust me, they know my abilities, but I've heard that LinkedIn is not a great tool to use for marketing and for that type of thing.
I disagree. I think for professional services, legal services, medical and healthcare, CPAs, accountants, any number of professional services categories, I think LinkedIn has become the most important. The simple reason is that they've added, in addition to what they always had, which is kind of just the Rolodex contact connection component, in recent years they've added the feed. And so now there is a kind of news feed that's similar to what Twitter and Facebook and other social media properties offer in terms of news feed, but it's more heavily focused on your professional updates and news and information. And so yeah, I mean, it wasn't on the slide I put up there because this information I kind of put together was a little bit more heavily oriented towards consumer, retail, hospitality, food and beverage. But LinkedIn, I think, could indeed be your foremost, most important social media channel if what you're really selling is your time and your expertise as a business professional. And the best way to do it, in my experience, is make sure that you've got a page on LinkedIn for your business. So they have this concept of a company page. So you should have that. You should have your personal profile well built and connected, obviously. And then use that as your platform to provide updates about behind the scenes and news and updates, and even the occasional like customer celebration, customer feature. What I've been seeing is that LinkedIn is featuring those kind of more personal and authentic news items or stories in their feed more prominently than like kind of straight up large company boring commercial posts, because they are wanting to cultivate that more frequent usage, and in particular by small and medium business people. So it's an asset, I think, if that's kind of the profession, the way you've taken your career.
I feel like I want to pick your brain during lunch too. We're running out of time now because we have to move on to our master classes, but there's etiquette with LinkedIn. You're not going to post what you post on Facebook that you post on LinkedIn.
Well, honestly, I would say LinkedIn has become Facebook for small business people.
Really?
Yes.
When they're posting about things that are not relevant to their work and industry, I feel like it's just clutter. But we'll talk about that later.
Find me for lunch.
Find them.
And I will show you a few examples that will open your mind to the possibilities.
Ladies and gentlemen,
very much.
thank you, Clay McDaniel. We'll see you during lunch. Thank you to all of our speakers today. And right now, we're going to transition. We're going to go to 2 separate rooms over here. These are breakouts. It's an opportunity for you guys to dive deeper into a couple of other topics that we have. Betsy Furler, the host of Your App Lady, will lead a workshop on modern productivity. She's going to be this way. And then we have Angela Hood, founder and CEO of This Way Global. She'll be this way. She'll lead a discussion on how recruiting can transform your business. All right, so they're going to get started promptly at 10:20, so that's not a lot of time. But that gives you just a few minutes to grab some coffee, grab some water, go to the restroom, network, see the sponsors out there. Yes, so you'll have a few minutes to network, and then make sure to meet back here at 11:15 for the second half of our programming, and I'll see you then.